everyone, welcome to another video of CoinCrunch India. In fact, another live AMA of CoinCrunch India, and we have with us already here Roshan and Vijay. So thank you guys for joining. We will wait for a few minutes for other people to join in. The communication is going out on social channels. So yeah, how you guys doing, by the way?
Good, Naimish. I think a lot of your fans in our office will be a little disappointed in your choice of attire.
Why you wanna? So I generally
No, because
wear a suit.
we had a very nice photograph that Jason posted on our internal WhatsApp group, with you in a very flowery shirt. And lots of the ladies really liked that, liked the shirt.
You should have told me before, and I would have worn that shirt.
Yeah. It's quite pretty, if I may say so. Yeah.
Thank you. I just met Jason like a few days ago, I think, and I'm still in Goa, so it's pretty cool. I think we have more and more people joining in, and I think we are at this moment live on a lot of Facebook pages. Your FOHO's Facebook page, FOHO's YouTube channel, Holiday Homes, which is your other business, their Facebook channel. So we are like live at a lot of places. We have like 40 people watching in the video right now. So I think we should get started. Let me just say, all the people watching, I am Nemish, because you are watching from other channels. So let me introduce myself also. I am Nemish. I am the founder of CoinCrunch India, and it is an absolute joy to always sit on this side of the platform and talk to entrepreneurs and founders of DeFi product, and some people who are working in basically tokenizing the economy, right? I call it tokenizing the economy, fractionalizing the ownership of stuff, as we are going to discuss today, fractionalizing the ownership of real estate with tokens, which is what FOHO aims to do. And the two people that we have here are not just the ordinary people who just came and thought that they should launch a token. They have experience in the holiday homes business, they have experience in the real estate business, and they know what they're doing. And that's why we are very happy to have Roshan and Vijay Thomas, co-founders of FOHO Coin, on CoinCrunch. And now I would like first Roshan to introduce himself, give us a little background, and then we'll move to Vijay.
Hey, Naimish, we are very, very happy, myself and Vijay, to be here and to engage with, your audience. Just to give you a short background, over the last 10, 11 years, I've essentially been focused on how to make money from what earlier was considered a dead asset, which was essentially people's vacation homes, holiday homes, etc. When we started the business, about 11 years ago, these were kind of homes where you sent your old furniture and you never expected to make any money from it. It was just a cost for most families. And over the last 11 years, it's become an industry. We are one of the highest yield kind of and best investments for anyone who bought vacation homes over the last 10 years. They've seen phenomenal returns, they've seen phenomenal income, etc. And we hope to do the same with FOHO.
Awesome. We'll talk about vacation homes being dead asset in a bit, but Vijay sir, could you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Naimish. Really appreciate you having us on your show, and great to see all of your audience as well. I am right now. I'm shattered to say this. I am in sunny Canada. Canada, you must have seen the news. Thanks to we've seen, if there's anything that's constant in today's world, it's change. It's not just COVID. Even the climate is changing. We've got temperatures of 49 degrees in Canada. People don't have thought about it, but anyway, it's Canada Day. So any Canadian watching, happy Canada Day. And then I'm here, and I'm really glad to be here. A little bit about myself. I grew up in sunny Goa, but I moved to Canada probably around 20 years back, and then I started a technology company called Tangentia around 17 years back, and then we also started Tangentia Ventures, and one of our ventures in 2019 was fractional home ownership. And very similar to what Roshan was saying, we wanted to democratize second home ownership. We wanted to say, how can people own second homes? And we said, you can buy a second home in Goa, but second home in Goa is going to cost you, let's say, a couple of crores. But let's say if you sold 1/10 of that house, now it's going to be cost only 20 lakhs or 30 lakhs. So
Right.
that's how we started off in 2019. Now, come to 2021, we did not realize that we could use, NFTs, we could use crypto. Now, that same house doesn't have to have 10 fractions; it can have 10,000 fractions, and
Right.
and and blockchain enables all of that. So earlier this year, Roshan was thinking of something on similar lines. We already were doing fractional home ownership. We got talking to each other, and we said, you know what, you guys have trip villas, you guys have been doing this with holiday homes, we've been doing this with fractional homes, we should get together. And that's how fohocoin.com came about. And we put a lot of effort. We've been working on this for the last 2-3 months. So it is one of those products, I think, is way ahead of anybody out there that's doing things, and would love to tell you more.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that introduction, Vijay. And you answered the question that I was going to ask next, which is basically how did you guys meet? But okay, so next question to you guys. Maybe Roshan can explain what is FOHO. Also, not just the full form of the abbreviation, but also what is FOHO Coin and what are you planning to do here with it?
Right. So essentially, FOHO is a marketplace where we have it's a marketplace for shared ownership and shared usage of real assets. So
Right.
essentially, we have a concept of someone called a sponsor. So a sponsor essentially is somebody who is who's got the inside track on real estate, who's find out there for his own investments, finding great deals, and he can and every such investor has limited capital at disposal. So what he can do is he can say that hey, I found this great deal, and the FOHO ecosystem rules are that he needs to buy at least 10% in the asset, and then
Right.
he can basically upload his investment thesis onto the platform, and then recruit other people who buy the rest of the 90% of the fractions. Also, he can also decide, I want to keep 40%, and then I want to sell fractions for the other 60%. So that's what FOHO enables. It enables, these real estate insiders, if I may, to come in, post deals, share their investment thesis, and then allows the crowd to kind of due diligence it together. Because
Right.
you and me may
Come
know,
to
like
a
you may know
consensus.
Baroda well,
Right.
Yeah,
yeah, and
just
I
to
may
just to
know
add
Bangalore well.
yeah, just to add to what Roshan mentioned, I think there's 3 or 4 different small components to FOHO. There's a FOHO ecosystem which is made up of FOHO.house. FOHO.house is a blockchain based residential marketplace. So this is leveraging on the traditional legacy FOHO.house that was part of the 2019 thing, where we had houses only thing. Now it's going to be smaller fractions. Just imagine somebody wanting to buy a condo overlooking Central Park on Fifth Avenue in New York, right?
Yeah,
Let's say it's $2 million of for that condo. Now, if you have 10,000 fractions, you can buy one fraction for only $200, and then
Right.
you can buy a fraction of a home at NCPA in Nariman Point, where today I don't think any of us could afford to buy one, but you can still buy a fraction. 10,000 of it might only be 10,000 rupees. So you
Right.
can buy that. So that's FOHO.house, right? Second is FOHO.work, where you can buy a factory, you can buy a warehouse, you can buy a winery, you can buy a microbrewery, right? You can buy a bunch of different things that is in the commercial space. Then you have FOHO.club. FOHO.club is usage. Let's say in Bangalore or in Ahmedabad or in Mumbai, 20 people get together and say, I want to buy, I want to rent real estate. There's no ownership in dot club. It's only usage, right? So usage, they say we will buy a space in Nariman Point, and all of us will share usage. So they can come up with their own governance models. They can share usage. So it can be a home. It can be a holiday home in Goa that you rent out and you use. It could be an office space in Nariman Point that you rent out and use. It could be an office space in Manhattan. So all of these
Right.
are the components of for the ecosystem. Now the last component is FOHO Coin. Now people might ask, what is FOHO Coin? FOHO Coin is the lifeblood. You need FOHO Coin to participate in FOHO Club. You need FOHO Coin to participate in FOHO House. You need FOHO Coin to participate in FOHO.work. So think of it this way. If you are going to a village fair, okay, go to a mela in India. If you go to a mela, at the gate of the mela, they will give you some coupons, right?
Right.
You buy those coupons to go inside, participate in the Ferris wheel, participate in some game. All of those requires you to have some coins, some coupons. So FOHO Coin is your token to enter into the FOHO ecosystem. Then you can either participate. Now you can also be an investor, because the FOHO Coin value. Imagine as the mela starts getting more popular, some people say, you know what, it's sold out. No more coupons for the mela. Guess what? You have two coupons. You can sell it to somebody else who wants to participate in the mela, right? Going to go into the fair.
Right.
So that is, I think, the very simplistic explanation of each of those other components and of the FOHO Coin itself.
Okay. Okay. So I will dig a little deeper into it because we have some questions around that as well. But what I understand is that you can base what. So I'll start with the question itself. What is it that you get when you are a fractional owner of this property? Like what do you get, and what is the, like you said that FOHO Coin is the coupon to use the services, but how does it make value for me if I decide to become like a fractional owner of the thing? And also the second part of the question is that, am I actually, if I hold FOHO Coin, am I actually holding a real fraction of the real estate, or it's just a coin on the cloud, right? And what other basically coin applications are there?
Roshan, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. So essentially, Naimish, you use the FOHO coin. So every property is converted into its own unique token. So what
Okay.
happens is that, let's say, for instance, suppose you have as Vijay is describing, an apartment in Manhattan, or, let's say an or a holiday home in Goa. Each of these properties will have their own unique tokens, and those tokens will have
So
their
that
own.
is like an NFT,
Yes,
it-
yes.
it's
a
not an
non-fungible
NFT. It's
token
Yeah.
per property. Okay.
No, no,
Yes.
no. It is a divisible token. It's not an NFT. So it's a unique token with its own Etherscan, etc. But they are
Okay.
they are
Okay.
like, let's say,
So
suppose
a
it's
contract
10,000. Yeah,
for each
it's a
property.
it's a
Per
it's a
property, yes.
specific coin for that property. So let's say, for
Mhm.
instance, suppose the property is divided into 10,000 fractions. It will have 10,000 such coins. Now, what
Okay.
you will do is, depending on the value of the property, it will have a equivalent value in FOHO coins. Now you will, and it will go through a sort of a sale process where people who hold FOHO coins can then convert those FOHO coins and buy by buying into that particular property's tokens. Now, when you hold that token, the property manager of that token will essentially then start paying the rentals and the income, etc., to all holders of that particular unique coin. Similarly, all holders of that unique coin can vote on the disposal of that asset, or on the upgrades of that asset, or to change the property manager. So it's a sort of a transparent governance kind of model. It's very similar to like owning shares in a private limited company, or so. But it's essentially all of these processes of voting, etc., being moved onto a smart contract, and being conveyed basically through the mobile app and the web interface.
So
I hope I've not confused you more.
yeah, no, no. So let
No,
me
no,
let me
no.
just add a little bit there. So the FOHO coin itself is a utility token. Okay, the FOHO coin itself enables you to participate in the FOHO ecosystem. Now you can use it to buy real estate. Once you do that, you've converted the FOHO coin into the real estate token, right? The fractional real estate token for that property. But you can
So
only
basically, you can only buy the fractional real estate token of a property using FOHO Coin. There is no other way to get in on it.
That
Yes,
is
correct.
correct. That is correct.
Yeah.
So we're looking at some point we might actually open it up to but in the end there might be a conversion. We might actually open it up to a e-commerce website and people can buy it. But in the back end, definitely you would need a FOHO coin. You'll have to buy FOHO coin
Yeah.
and do it. So
and
yes,
and
the answer is
and
yes.
owning the FOHO coin is a greater participation in the ecosystem. What that means is, for certain categories of participants, like the sponsors, the property managers, etc., they need to
Brokers, real
basically,
estate
yeah,
brokers.
the real estate brokers, they need to have a certain amount of FOHO coins locked in order to basically participate in the marketplace. You or me, as an end buyer and an investor, we don't need to have anything locked, because
Right.
I mean, we are essentially voting with our wallet. But these other participants, who are essentially bringing deals to the platform, who need to adhere to certain rules, etc., etc., we need to have a way to enforce, sort of governance on them, and that is through the FOHO coins that they have staked aside,
Mhm.
to basically play that role.
Okay. And let's say let's also, like, there are questions around tokenomics and all that. Do we have
Yes.
that ready?
Yes,
Or
yes, yes. We can go for that. Yeah, yeah. So essentially, what happens, is on the tokenomics side. I think if I was an investor, how I would look at it is, I would look at it and say that, what are these guys trying to do? So what we're trying to do essentially is say that we will release tokens for cash. So if you look at our total supply, there's nearly 50% of all tokens have to be issued for cash consideration at the prevailing market price. The only time when the FOHO coin is being issued at a, you can say, an artificial price, which is not market driven, is in the
yeah,
initial IEO offering, where we have set an artificial price of 10 cents, etc. So now that 10 cents essentially offering essentially means that, we as FOHO have that much cash in the bank, which is able to be used. We can use that to basically pay to the sellers of properties on the FOHO ecosystem. Now,
right.
the remaining, now what are we doing? We are essentially saying that, for people who come in and adopt the platform early and bring their deals onto the platform, buy properties on the platform, etc., we're saying that, the platform is basically making money through transaction fees. So the platform makes, let's say, 10% every time a property is fractionalized and sold on the platform, etc. And why is that? Because the initial people who back the FOHO coin basically should repose that faith in the platform, and so a large portion of those fees we're committing to basically use it to buy back, to pay out in terms of income to the holders of the FOHO coin, etc.
Right. Okay.
So
So there
and
is
so
no
that way.
max supply and all those tokenomics.
No, no,
Like,
there is
what is the
there
max
is.
supply?
So the max supply is 1 billion FOHO coins, but
Right.
as I mentioned in the initial version, we are only releasing 85 million, and the remaining ones are as per demand for cash consideration at the relevant market price. So it's not dilutionary to the people who hold FOHO coins, because
Okay.
essentially it's at market price.
Okay, got it. There are, again, I have like 30 questions that people had asked in the previously, but there are also questions coming in right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. I think some
it's
very
about,
good questions. So let's
yeah, so
let
it's
we can
about
take them. Yeah.
tackling competition, right? Like, so tomorrow a big builder could come up with a solution. Also, the other part is that whether or not you are truly decentralized, right? So how do you
True,
answer these questions? Like, how do you handle
true, true.
competition, and you being, are you truly being
So,
decentralized?
so I'll tackle the one about builders. So I think
Okay.
you and me have spent enough time in India, and I think most of the audience here may come in from India. Any builder in India, by the time they deliver property to their customers, their relationship with the customer has already broken down. An Indian real estate developer is not known to inspire trust. So we do not think it's possible that a platform that is governed by a single builder will be able to attract a true sort of or will be able to act as a true marketplace, attract a diversity of deals. And secondly, we don't feel that the Indian investor is really very, very keen only on Indian properties. there's, I think, a growing recognition that there are opportunities. We live in a world which is sort of global. There are opportunities across the globe. People want to have other people who can, sort of diligence the properties for them, who can actually visit. So let's say, for instance, today, if somebody comes to me and says that, hey, there's this great deal in Portugal, there's really limited ways in which I can actually go and verify it. But on a platform like FOHO, you have other users who are actually in Portugal who can go and visit, send photographs, upload photographs, etc., etc.
Right. But let's talk about this, right? You cannot just easily allow anyone to buy property anywhere, right? Like there
Yeah,
must be regulations to
yeah.
the
Let
law
me
of the
yeah,
land and all that, right? So
yeah.
what about that?
Okay, so let me take that, Roshan, if I may.
Yes,
So
yes, please.
absolutely. Okay, so think of this as Uber. When Uber were launched worldwide, okay, so let's say property, real estate is a state subject. In India, it's a state subject. So Maharashtra has its own rule, Goa has its own rule, Kerala has its own rule, right? So it's a state subject. Even in the US, in Canada, it's a state or province subject. So we have to go at it from a state or province by province. You might think, whoa, such a onerous task, so difficult. Okay, my answer, not as difficult. People have done it. Uber, you know, the taxi industry is not even, it is city wide. They had to do it city by city by city. Okay, so we're very similar to the Uber model, or Airbnb. You have to go at this by each jurisdiction. That's why we're starting off with a pilot. The pilot is going to be in Sri Lanka, India, and Canada. And as we grow, we will grow to more jurisdictions. So
But India
very,
itself is the one which has the toughest. Like one, we don't have any regulatory model around crypto tokens, and then we also have. And while you are at it, please also sort of I do understand it, but for the audience, also bring in how current model is, right. There is real estate investment trust. So how it
Correct,
works and how FOHO is sort of utilizing that
correct,
existing
correct.
regulation to it,
Right.
right.
So if
sure.
you see
Go ahead.
India, Naimish, India has already legalized the concept of having a real estate investment trust. There are multiple trusts which are listed on the exchanges in India. The only difference here is that the trust is more digital, is using its registry which is on the blockchain, and so it's more trustworthy. And because of that, it's got a much lower cost as opposed to an exchange traded trust. And you can essentially and it has certain governance features because of the blockchain, which means that in a REIT which is listed, you cannot tell them that hey, I think that the property manager is not doing a good job and I want to change it. But here in our model, you can actually say that the fractional owners can say that, hey, we don't think this property manager is doing a good job, let's have a vote, let's terminate their contract, and let's change the operator from, let's say, Oyo to Tribo, for instance. I'm just giving you an
And will there be,
example.
but, sorry to interrupt, Roshan, but will there be, like, if it's an Indian property and I'm a fractional owner of it, will that be actual paperwork as well that,
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes, yes.
absolutely. Absolutely. So this is ownership. It's not what you call timeshare, which is right to use the property. So you have,
yeah,
in effect, the complete economic benefits of being an owner. It's akin to a real estate investment trust, where you for because the real estate registry in India today does not support many owners being on the actual title document. You have an abstraction where you have the real estate investment trust, which is essentially creating a fractionalized title on the blockchain. And then you can verify it, you can, and we will have our own ecosystem of lenders who will lend against your fractional ownership, or even provide you a mortgage to buy the interest in the property.
Now,
right.
just to add there, at some point, I do visualize from a vision standpoint, we are going to be the platform that some real estate income tax REITs might decide to put their REIT on the FOHO platform. Okay, so
Yeah,
look at it. They are just going and getting their properties. We can provide them the ecosystem. We can provide them the
Right.
platform. So we are the base layer here. We are going to be the foundational layer on which they can sit on if they want to. We're not going
right.
to compete with
But
them.
So actually,
there
I'm
is no
I'm
limit
seeing
on
a I'm
REIT,
seeing a
right? Like,
question here,
Yes.
Naimish, where I think everything crypto India is that, you can't add people on a property doc. And I think that's right. I mean, he's right in his understanding that, on the Indian government's property document, you can't, but, this is akin to saying that, you have, let's say, it's like saying that, you have an embassy REIT which is listed on the stock exchange, and you actually don't own anything. This does not demonstrate a real understanding of the way that a REIT or a mutual fund, or actually operates. It's essentially saying that, you have, of course, the Indian property document, which will have a constant owner, which is essentially the trust.
Yeah,
And the
or the
trust
REIT.
is
It's
then
similar to a
basically,
REIT. The REIT would have the
yeah,
same thing.
exactly. Yeah, so exactly like
Yeah,
how the
it's
REIT is, the owner of, let's say, Manita Tech Park in Bangalore, you know.
right. So the REIT model is essentially now tokenized, right? That's what it is.
Absolutely. I think
Exactly.
that's that
Yeah,
you hit it on the head right there. Yes.
Yeah.
exactly.
Tokenized.
Okay.
Yeah. And now you can have so many more fractions. You can have, and it's more liquid, right? You've got every property that can be liquid, not a whole collection. In the REIT, you cannot say, in the REIT has, let's say, 20 warehouses, right? Each of them has a certain amount. But thanks to blockchain and the market economics today, each warehouse can float on its own, right? The Pune warehouse has a connection with
Yeah,
Amazon, suddenly goes up in value as compared to the warehouse in Bangalore, right? So,
Right.
correct.
or vice
Yeah,
versa. So there is, it is much more granularized, and thanks to the blockchain, and thanks to the decentralized manner, if you want to, you can even participate in that. Now somebody says,
yeah,
think of it this way: if you bought sufficient shares in that particular warehouse, now the sufficient fractions, you could control the destiny of that warehouse. You can
yeah,
you own, you have more votes. you
yeah,
you you own 60% of that warehouse. You can say, what, we don't want this Amazon contract, let's go with Walmart. Okay, so
yeah,
that is the ability that blockchain brings to the table. It's a whole different ball game
absolutely.
that was not possible with the traditional REITs as well. So if anybody says, your name is not on the thing, you cannot have 10,000 people's names on the registry in the Maharashtra land registry.
Yeah,
Definitely
it's
not. We are
also,
not
yeah,
claiming that as
absolutely.
well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And also,
Right.
what happens is that you don't really want to have that, because the actual land registries in India are very, very complex.
Yes.
And there are costs associated with any update to that registry, in terms of stamp duty and, various indirect and direct costs. So you don't, I mean, the benefit of a REIT or a crypto based model is essentially that you can have this very done at a very low cost, and
And quickly,
and
you can,
yeah,
you don't have to wait in time. See here.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
no, I want to stop for interrupt here, because with the aspect that we have limited time, and
Sure.
don't want the conversation to go in circles, because there's like a lot of questions. But I get it, right? Like I get it. It's tokenized property, but the FOHO coin is not necessarily the token. It's not the token of the property. It's a token to allow you to be part of the ecosystem, to get some incentives to buy the property with it. Right. So, a quick question from the chat: which chain are you launching on as of now?
right now the FOHO coin itself is ERC20, but actual the
Okay.
properties and the transactions, etc., will be on a level 2 chain. So
Okay.
we're in discussions and evaluating multiple level 2 chains, and lots of them, as I'm sure your community knows, have updates planned. So the actual property ones, which have a lot more transaction throughput, will be on one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that answers Aryan Gupta's question. The questions regarding the total raise and all, and where to buy the platform, we'll move it to the last 10, 20, 15 minutes of the
Sure, sure,
conversation.
sure.
For now, let me take some questions around from the ones that we collected beforehand from Twitter and Telegram. So we've talked about a lot of it already. Okay, so what is your opinion around, like, what is your roadmap like for FOHO going forward? Like, when is it that this ecosystem comes alive?
So we are launching, the token will be tradable on the 15th of August. The first of the marketplaces will be launched by, the end of August. So essentially, and pretty much all the marketplaces, which is FOHO.house.work and the FOHO Club, all will be live before December 1st, because, we obviously feel that, a lot of people are gonna, right now, of course, a lot of people can't travel, but by December 1st, we expect everyone will be eager to travel and go and visit the properties, go and stay in some of these properties, etc. So we will have everything ready before the 1st of December.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
15th
that's
15th August is going to be independence from your traditional ways of owning real estate,
I
or
just
using real estate. So independence and democratization of real estate using blockchain.
I don't know what to say. I mean, first of all, your enthusiasm is out of this world, huh, Vijay. But I get it. Like I get it. Like because and all the people asking these questions, and it goes into my head as well. Like, what if I am owning a fractional property somewhere, let's say in Bangalore, right? And now I want to sell it, right?
Yeah.
How fast or how easy would it be? And we discussed that it's just a token, like you could just make
Yeah.
a
So
transaction
there,
and
there are there are two potential sales here, Naimish. So let's just be a little clear about this. One is
yes.
that you can sell your token itself, and that's market price, and pretty much the price of the property will be captured by market price. However, you can also, as all the token holders of the property decide, let's do an organized sale of the entire asset together. So what that means is that you can say that hey, we think that the price of real estate in, let's say, Thailand or Bali or Uti has gone through the roof in the last 2 years, and as opposed to me selling it on the market where maybe the full price may not be captured, let's go out there together as a collective, and and try to sell the entire property. So the property may exit the trust and return for a substantial cash consideration, which is then paid out to all the property's fraction owners in proportion of the fraction they hold. So there are two kinds of sale, both of which are supported by the platform.
Okay, understood. Great. And now moving on to the part wherein this being the marketplace for all kinds of real estate, and we discussed like club, work, and
Yeah.
home, right? Now, somebody asked that what benefits do I get if I am a property owner and if I want to visit that property, like let's say it's a resort or something. So,
Correct.
let me ask a very specific question. Is it are the benefits like can be voted in or out of the proposal by the property owners? Will it? I think that this is how it should work, right? Am I right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let me take that.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are
Go
two
ahead.
parts here. The ownership is pure ownership. Okay. The FOHO.house, FOHO.work is pure ownership. Now you can create a club, FOHO.club, for that same property, right? So basically, you can say, we are 10,000 people. We own a property in Arambol, Goa. Okay. But now we own it. Now, rather than we give it to the property management guys, we can all get together, and you say maybe 100 of us get together and we will create a club, and we like the property we own, so let's use it as a club. So you create a club, everybody put some money, you rent it from your own ownership from dot house. You make a club on it, but you have to then make sure it is at market value, because you cannot, there might be members in the FOHO house that are not part of the club, so you cannot give yourself a special deal. Okay, there are,
Yeah.
it has to be the governance, make sure that it is at market value. So we have kept them separate. It cannot be said, okay, ये हमारा ही घर है, ये सस्ते में चले जाते हैं, नहीं हो सकता, because there may be one guy that says ये इनको क्यों दे रहे हैं, सस्ते में क्यों दे रहे हैं. Okay, so there is already governance built in. Build a club, and if there's enough people there, and if your club should pay more than what the management company is giving. Okay, so it has to be fair market value.
Yeah, and
Right.
Naimish, we've seen that in real estate, typically the people who try to blend this usage and ownership, or buy this property because you'll go there so many times for a vacation. They're usually trying to take the focus away from the actual value of the property and the yield on the property. So we were very careful about that and very clear that, the investment, has to perform in terms of pure mathematics. I see some other questions on, can you give us an example? And I think, on the white paper there are 3 4 real Excel examples which I would encourage people to go through, which show them, the actual mathematics of a property and how it gets divided into fractions and what are the additional transactional costs, etc., etc.
Nice. Okay. There is another funny question. Not funny, but it's actually serious question, which is real estate being the mafia in India, right? What do we do when the property goes into dispute, and nobody is there, right? So how do we handle those kind of issues?
Vijay, you want me to handle this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So essentially, this is an unfortunate thing, but essentially, this is where an average person in India, or like someone like our parents, etc., have made mistakes because they never had an ability to due diligence a property, or they didn't have the variety of choice and the wisdom of crowds. Now, in 9 cases out of 10, we feel that on the FOHO ecosystem, you'll be able to avoid these mistakes because somebody will alert you. So even if you don't know anything about Baroda, you know that Naimish is also on the platform, and Naimish will come and say that, hey, this is a shitty part of Baroda, or this is not a reputed developer in Baroda, and the price is very high, and so the whole deal will fizzle out just because of the wisdom of crowds in general, or the property not being very thing. The all agreements are as per the FOHO design templates, which means the developer cannot cannot upload his own contract. It has to be in compliance with the real estate laws that's vetted by us as a platform in totality. So in general, we expect that all the usual mistakes that are made by rookies when they purchase real estate, or when they're misguided by the so-called mafia, may be avoided. However, we as a platform are prepared that there will always be bad actors, and there is enough cash and there is the FOHO coin in reserve, so the seller also cannot exit completely unless he's really delivered all the goods. So
Yeah.
we, in effect, as FOHO, act as sort of like an escrow, and until the title is delivered, etc., and the due diligence is met, we have outlined some of these processes in the white paper. The seller really can't get even a single dollar.
Yes. So
Okay.
exactly. So unless this is like like the Airbnb or Uber, as you mentioned, right? The driver doesn't get paid unless Uber checks off and says yes, everything has checked out, the property is there, and as we go along, we would have a system. We also have the seller would have to pay some due diligence fees. We will actually have
Right.
lawyers. We will have people that will go and check these properties out as well.
Yeah.
Now, having said all that stuff, now being in India, you now don't have to only play the Indian market. You can buy fractional homes in other parts of the world. Lots of parts of the world are open to Indian citizens buying thing. You can buy in the Cayman Islands. You can buy property in the US. They don't have problems with Indian people buying property in the US. There is, the world is your marketplace. You can buy in Dubai. You can buy
Yes.
in multiple places. So, wherever Indian citizens are allowed to buy, you can buy. So you are not only held to buying Indian property, but as Roshan mentioned, even the Indian property, we will make sure it goes through a lot of due diligence. It's part of the system. Think of this as Uber, right?
Yeah.
Uber, not anybody can wake up and start
We
driving the
keep
car. There is
taking.
some
Yeah,
due
I mean, I
diligence.
just want to say that we keep taking example of Uber, but Uber is still centralized, right? Like it's not like
I, I I understand. So we would have, but there is going to be a centralized
No,
portion of this.
Naimish,
Yeah, good.
Uber is centralized to a very small extent. So, for instance, like coming from my world, I mean, you were just taking the example of an Uber, but like an Airbnb, for instance, there is some centralization. It's not decentralized, but really, to a large extent, it's a pure marketplace. You are making your decision based on photographs that are user uploaded, reviews which are from other users, and then they're providing you a lot of data points, and then you make your own decision. So here, and they have it's like an escrow mechanism. Here also the FOHO coin serves as like an escrow mechanism. So I don't want to make this too complex, because I think people want to have a little bit fun also. But yes, I mean, real estate at the end of the day is serious business. And so, it has to go through those processes of, as Vijay is saying, we have a listing fee that's paid for by the person who puts up the property. As part of the listing fee, we as the platform go and physically verify the property, and all claims, all legal documents are done, as per our templates. There's no change possible from the seller's side or etc. So, there are certain things which ultimately, this is a serious brick and mortar business, and so, it can't be purely, just be virtual. Yeah.
Got it. And that is what I was getting into, because see, it has to start with a degree of control, and then slowly make it decentralized as and when the permissions or the regulations permit, right? But yeah, so now see, we are seeing that people are asking similar questions, and also that they're turning around and saying that the idea is interesting. And I want to add here that, when I spoke to you guys and we decided to do this AMA and all this was the idea. Like, it doesn't have to be a working idea at this moment. It has to be an
No,
idea.
and there's no issue with things being difficult, right? Because if things were easy, then everybody would do it. So we're very
Right.
comfortable. As I said, when we started, even Tripvillas, 11 years ago, there was nothing there in the vacation home space. Me and the founders of Airbnb, I remember the first time we met, because we met, maybe, because we shared a common shareholder. So we met very early on. We were founded like maybe 3-4 months apart from each other. And this was a completely unknown and unexplored space, and nobody felt that they felt it was like you could be going to a psycho's house, and living in his bedroom. And if you were a woman, you'd get molested, or there's lots of crazy things that were around. So things don't need to be easy, and sometimes having things difficult with friction, etc., actually means that you're only competing with other people who have significant resources, and who have a significant commitment to the space. So we're happy with that. Yeah.
Okay, that's a fantastic thought process, actually. And before we get into how the coin and the sale and the raise is happening, one more question about it, which is, who are your competitions as of now in the market in the same space?
Yeah, so there are multiple competitors. So if you look at I think a competitor which is faster out of the gate is a company in the United States called Realty. And some people can go and check them out. They're not a true competitor, because they're still very centralized. They themselves are in an inherently conflicted position, because they buy the property and they sell it on a fractional basis. So they make some arbitrage on those properties, and and things like that. So we have taken a more marketplace driven, because we don't want to be in a position of conflict. And so we essentially have said that we will essentially just police the ecosystem, but the ecosystem is open. So I see some questions there saying that, can I sell my house? Yes, you could. But
Absolutely, yes.
yeah, but only, I mean, would people be interested? Only if your house is able to generate 7-8% in income.
This is
So
essentially gamification of the real estate market, if and only if there is an interest
I
in
wouldn't say gamification, Naimish, but I would say that we are moving to a world where your investments are digital,
Yes.
and that means all investments. So gamification means, I think it kind of trivializes the process of investing, and people like me or Vijay have spent many decades in very serious investing. So I don't want to encourage any younger person to think of investing like a game. So I would say it's
no,
a
But it
digitalization of
but
brings,
I what
okay,
I
investing
if
meant
I may
process.
add,
Yeah.
is,
it brings liquidity. So to investors, okay, you bring liquidity to the process. So, but it is market economics. Okay, so gamification in that sense, yes, it is.
market economics is what I say.
Yes, yes,
By
yes. No,
by
no,
by that I mean that people are like, there could be a seller in a small town in Gujarat, and there could be a seller in Arambol where I'm sitting right now.
absolutely.
People are going to
Sure.
go after Arambol because
Yes.
Sure,
the
Naimish. So
Or,
let's say,
or,
for instance, someone may come to us and say that, hey, there's this real estate, because it's the only collection of 10 nice shops, each shop of 200 square feet, and it's available at like 4 lakhs each, and it's going to generate very high yield. And I mean, if I were to if somebody were to come to me and say, Roshan, we want to buy the entire shop, I'm not interested. But if yeah, it's just digital investment and I may make 15% yield, hey, sure, I may be willing to give it a shot.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so the mantra of crypto that is there is invest only what you can afford to lose. Now you can do that in real estate as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think I think that that crypto, as it goes mainstream, will have to go to back to the first rule, which is the first rule is never lose capital.
Yes. And the rule number 2 is don't forget rule number 1.
Okay, I think we have passed that 45-minute mark. So let's get into the the investment and how people can get involved. So tell us about the token sale. What is happening right now? What is happening next? And where can people get into the investment? And what do they get after investing? Right. So
Vijay, do you want to take
yes,
that?
so
Vijay.
as we said, where the IEO opens the 27th of July on BitBNS. We've chosen BitBNS as our partner. We're very happy with BitBNS, and BitBNS has done a great job. We think with BitBNS,
You're launching on their IDO platform, right? Which is
on the Ascent platform. On the Ascent platform, yes.
Ascent, right?
On the Ascent platform. So anybody that's watching, that's interested, please go get whitelisted on BitBNS. If you're whitelisted on BitBNS already, you have an account, you can play. You're on board. Okay, but if you're not, please go get whitelisted. It might take a couple of days. You can get whitelisted if you're from most countries in the world. There are a few countries that you cannot. Please check if your country is on those things that are that are on the list that you cannot participate. There's only a few there, but around the world, get on it. The IU is open for a couple of days. I think till the July 5th. I think is for a week. I think Roshan, the exact date I don't remember right now.
August 5th.
Sorry, August 5th. August 5th, and then the coins will start trading August 15th to coincide with Indian Independence Day. As we said, this is going to be independence and democratization of real estate investing, and we hope a lot of you will participate. Now, any of you that are bigger investors that are wanting to invest more than 25,000 USD equivalent, we'll also have a private placement open. So go to the Fohocoin.com website. Please put in your information. Then one of our people that manage the private placement will get in touch with you, and we can look at that separately as well. But private placement investors, public IO investors, we welcome all of you on board. We also have what we call our champions. We call them the FOHO Army. So the FOHO Army is already out there. You can talk to them. They already are.
I can see a couple of them in the comments replying to other people because we cannot take all the questions, right?
Absolutely. So shout out to the FOHO Army. Keep going, guys. We will get there soon. Thank you very much. And for Roshan, you want to add something?
And the other way to
I
get
still
involved.
have one or two questions.
The other way to get involved, Naimish, is especially if there's anybody in the audience who considers themselves an insider or an expert in real estate, we are looking to engage with you. So if you are able to find great deals, if you're able to find really high yielding real estate, we're interested in talking to you, understanding why, what this is, and, getting it onto the platform, because we are seeking yield and we're seeking great investments which will multiply.
Right.
And also builders. We're looking at builders, real estate agents, anybody that wants to participate. The future is today. Those of you who said, I give this example. If you're sitting around a table in a Delhi party, right? In Delhi, some guy says, "Mere paas Goa mein ghar hai. I own a house in Goa." Okay, think about it this way. You can be there. You don't need to put the 5 crores to buy that house in Goa. You can put only 5,000, and you can also own a fraction of the house in Goa. When that big guy says, "Mere paas Goa mein ghar hai," hey, you also say, "Mere paas bhi ghar hai." So it is. वो सब बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है, but essentially we are democratizing this. You can say मेरे पास गोवा में घर है, नरीमन पॉइंट में घर है, दिल्ली में भी घर है, साउथ दिल्ली में भी घर है.
I think the next iteration will be a basket of fractional tokens कि बड़े-बड़े city में छोटा-छोटा portion fractional ownership of big houses you can have, right?
Absolutely. So as I said, this can a whole REIT can come and sit on our
Yeah.
platform.
So think about it this way,
The
Naimesh,
possibilities are
you know.
endless.
Yeah, you think about it this way, that there are many things which you may not buy if you had to buy the entire, entire asset. But
Yeah.
let's say if and if it's a calculated bet, you may decide that, hey, yes, I'm willing to take this bet. So I'm willing to take this bet. I'm willing to see if the yield's actually there for the first few months, and if it's in dollar denominated with zero taxation. So for instance, if it's employee housing in Saudi Arabia, I don't really care, because at the end of the day, for me, I'm buying a fraction of the property. I'm getting tax free rental yield on my tokens, and I'm not really bothered. I'm never going to visit the
Yeah, and
property in Saudi
just before
Arabia.
Namish, okay, it doesn't have to be only yield. Okay, see, think of it this way. Everybody knows there is a Navi Mumbai airport coming. Okay, Navi Mumbai में airport आ रहा है, तो नवी मुंबई में property तो बढ़ने वाला है. अभी नवी मुंबई में property अगर खरीदे कोई, you have to put a lot of money. Now what if somebody says नवी मुंबई में we will get a property and 10,000 लोग उसमें खरीद लो. So now it doesn't have to be yield. It can also be capital appreciation. So it could be anything. So,
Yeah, you
so
can
now,
make a calculated bet.
Yes.
Basically, yeah.
Right. Awesome. So I just wanted to add for the audience that when Roshan talked about tax-free, he's talking about Saudi Arabia, not India. Like
Right.
every country has its own taxation laws, so you will be still governed by them. So you cannot just buy property on FOHO Coin marketplace and decide that, oh, I don't have to pay taxes on it. So
No,
just a
absolutely.
clarification. Okay.
absolutely.
Absolutely. I also see Rahul's suggestion to buy a fraction on the moon. I think you can sponsor that, Rahul, but eventually, I think you'll have to find other people who also find value in buying the rest of the shares on that property in the moon. So speaking personally, I'm only interested in properties with yield.
So this is like a mutual fund investment, like whether you want to go into a growth fund or a debt fund, or
Absolutely.
what is going to give you more,
Usually,
what suits your purpose.
capital value will chase yield.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
eventually,
exactly.
you cannot have capital value coming from thin air. People will pay because the property either now or in the future will generate that recurring income.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and just go to fohocoin.com, everybody. I mean, fohocoin.com has a lot of information. We've got the white paper. Look through it. There are also light papers.
And I just want to say that we've put out an article on FOHO as well, which is quite comprehensive. Okay, like it's like a 1,500 word article, which is talking about FOHO coin ins and out, right? So you can go to coincrunch.in and search for FOHO coin as well. If you don't want to go through the entire website and white paper, a little like smaller version of it, right?
Vijay, I think according to the audience, I'm being very serious, and you're being the one who's really cheerleading.
Which I'm telling you, right? I am telling you that his energy is like, there's like 2 levels beyond what I could fathom for myself, right? And I'm in Goa, and I'm saying that. I'm saying,
No,
It may
absolutely.
be because of the substances you're consuming in Goa, Naimesh.
no. I am consuming pizza. Okay, it's right here. You want to have?
We can't see it, so we'll believe you.
Okay.
And we will be doing a couple more AMAs as well. So if anybody is watching and wants more information, please join our AMAs. Either our Telegram group. We'll keep them updated. And if you want us to come anytime again, we're always willing. The IEO is the 27th of July, so we've got another 26 more days to go. And I think we're very excited. We're really excited about the interest that we've got. We've got builders interested. We've got real estate agents interested. We've got investors interested. So every aspect of the real estate market is interested, and we've got some of them already pledging support. Some of them already coming on board as private placement investors. So you'll see some big announcements in the near future as well. So we're talking some really big folks out there. So I think this is a great opportunity to get in at the ground level with FOHO Coin the FOHO army and the FOHO Coin supporters. I think it's going to. We're
you
hoping
can
get back
you
better.
guys can even apply to be part of the FOHO army, right?
You're on board. You're on board. We give you the major. We'll give you the. We'll give you major, and then if you get us more support, we'll make you
Okay,
brigadier.
I'll be honest, right? So and I want to add this because with CoinTrends, the reputation is that we only talk to people who we really trust, right? And so far, fortunately, we've had in the early days, we've had instances where we've sort of worked with people who have who have sort of cheated their investors, right? One or two times that instance happened, but now I speak. You guys can vouch. We have multiple coins calls before someone comes onto this platform, right? And we decide, we understand the product and project and everything, and find that the Indian way, find that connection, right? There's the 6 degrees of connection. Like Roshan was connected with Jason, and Jason and I were connected, and that's how we talked. So I think that that part and gives us that opportunity to work with people who are building in India, and this is quite different than 2017 or 18 when it was quite new in India, right? And now in 2021 we see that so many new ideas coming up from India, and I'm loving it. So before I let you go, still I have one more question. What is the guarantee? Like I brought this up because I to a level I understand what you guys are doing, and I've spoken to you, and I have a little bit of trust. But what is it that you would like to tell the audience, who some of them might be thinking you might just rug pull them after the investment is done? So what do you say to that? How do you build that trust?
I would say that, at the end of the day, uh, do your diligence, do your homework, and I can tell you this much, that we are only issuing coins against cash, and so if anybody wants to just sell the tokens at a discount, firstly I find it's illogical. Why would you buy at 10 cents and sell at, let's say, 7 or 8 cents? But even if you decided to do that, I can assure you that we as a company will be buying, because it means that you've given us 10 cents, and then you want us to give you back 7, so you're giving us 3 cents free. So I mean, I don't understand why you would do that, why anybody who's logical would do that. But I'm pretty sure that we as a company will be logical and buy if you were to want to sell at anything below the IEO price.
And let me add to that. Okay, so I've been a value investor for a long time, and I actually own some Berkshire Hathaway stock. So I have gone to Omaha to attend a couple of Berkshire Hathaway AGMs. So my value systems are very value driven. We are embracing crypto, and we're embracing the blockchain for what blockchain can do from a technology standpoint. Okay, and so we see crypto as being the ability, it provides the ability for us to get a lot of people involved, create a marketplace. So that's one of our driving forces. Our driving force here, as I said, we were already doing this fractional thing. I was already involved. We already have property. We already have property in Sri Lanka, in Goa. We're already doing this. Now we've made it a platform. So in that sense, we're quite invested in this. As Roshan said, we're old school, real economy players that have now discovered blockchain, right? And we are saying we can bring those same value systems that created businesses in the past. Now you've got people who can run real businesses in the traditional economy. They are now saying we can bring that same thing to things. So we're not somebody that said, okay, let's create a coin. We're creating a business that also embraces blockchain and uses a cryptocurrency to make it work. And just one more thing I'll add. I think as Roshan mentioned, he's been running a successful company for 11 years. I've been running a successful tech company for 17 years. Tangentia has been on the Profit 500, fastest growing companies in Canada 6 years in a row. We've been on the Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies in the US. So it's not, we're not fly by night operators. We've been in business. There is a lot at stake for us to be in this business as well. But we do see the value. So at the same time, a lot of our peers, they look at crypto and say, you know what, this is what the kids are doing. There's something wrong. So no, we've said we will embrace this. This is the change. We think there is value in this. And so we might look a little older than a lot of our audience, but guess what? We think you guys are onto something. Okay, so Namish and all of you there listening, we think you guys are onto something. But I think together we can get old school business with new school technology, and the fundamentals are the same. So we're looking at getting the new technology, new energy, getting all of you together in business, and we still think it can be a profitable business in the eyes through an old school lens as well. So we think the FOHO business,
Yeah.
it can be
Also,
profitable.
Naimish, I'd like to, because I think we are also live simultaneously on the Holiday Home Times YouTube page and the Facebook page. For
Yes.
your audience, I would like to encourage them to visit holidayhometimes.com, and you'll see that over the past, I mean, we never started it yesterday because we got into we started the FOHO coin. We've over the past maybe 8 years or 9 years since we started the Holiday Home Times, your audience can go there and they will say detailed research on every major tourism destination of the world, where we have been tracking the real estate laws, regulations, major developers, foreign investment rules, norms, etc.,
Right.
etc., over a very long period.
So,
So I don't
so
think there's anybody else who
I'll
can
just
claim.
summarize in a very
Yeah.
millennial kind of a way. You know your shit. um,
More,
right?
more than
So
more
for the
than more
people,
than know the shit. Yeah.
people who are saying I didn't show my pizza, I'll just show it. Right. So, so all right. With that,
There's also a question on, will we be listed on other big giants? Yes, I mean, of
yes,
course,
yes.
yeah, we are listing on other platforms in the future. Of course, it's not an IEO, and so it'll be at market value, etc. So this is the only one where there's that sort of non-linear kind of artificial price and then listing price discovery. But the other ones will be more of a secondary listing. Yeah.
Right, right. All right. I think that sort of takes up all the questions. Not all of them. Obviously, we cannot take all of them. But of course, this video is going to stay here on the platform. Leave your questions in the comments. We'll have Vijay, Roshan, and their team, or we'll have FOHO Army answer those questions on the comment sections,
Yeah.
right?
People can also
Um,
join the FOHO Telegram group, and we'll
yes.
keep taking many questions, even the more complex ones. We'll also do some real estate talk on Clubhouse. So, maybe you can just follow me or Vijay on Clubhouse, and we'll be doing some more for the real estate enthusiasts. We'll be doing some more detailed real estate talk on that platform.
Awesome. Looking forward to doing more AMAs with you, Roshan, Vijay. More questions, more answers. Thank you so much for taking out time to come on CoinCrunch and enjoy your day. I hope that Canada gets colder, and I hope, Roshan, that Bangalore gets a little warmer, so you get the feel of how other people are living in the country. Okay.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Namesh, and thanks everybody for watching.
Thanks,
thank
Naimish.
you.
Good
Thank
to
you.
see all of y'all. Yeah. Bye.